Vedic heritage of the Indo-Europeans. Here are the ancestors of the glorious ancestors of Prince SagaR, the most glorious sons of the dynasty of the solar emperors of the earth, the descendants of the ruling dynasty of RATRA Hyperborea, a list of which is given according to the dynastic Chronicles. To begin with, I bring the hymn, The Descent of the Flame, Aum re se vite RATRA. Sao say. O original thinker, you have conceived this world. O primordial thinker, you have truly radiated us. We proclaim this letter to you, in reverence to you. This is how we talk about you, in reverence for you. The radiant RA is the father of the gods, the head of countries and cities. The owner of the countries, the ruler of the solar orders. The radiant RA is the sage of the gods, the chief of the sacrifices, and all the Vedas. You are the first to create a sacrifice and control this world. With the radiance of the earth he revealed, with the radiance he gave us knowledge. In the radiance of RA they saw themselves, and the glory of RA reverently saying, Aum re se vite RATRA. Sao say. The parent of the world is primordial, he created the principalities of the gods. So all the beginnings appeared, and the glory of RA hovered over everything. The truth shines and the world stands, even God rules and shines. The truth shines and the world stands, even God shines and rules them. A couple of gods rose up, those who then collected all the dust. The family of the gods of the universe has become like Mother Swa instructed them. The mountains rose up like their ridges and their waters were washed then. The gods rose, the people stood up, and man among them became a wise prince. Man ruled wisely and taught. His sons and daughters were born to him and his faithful wife. Grads is built by RA, Man, Arius, Chi, Darch and Caphan. That world passed, the stronghold fell, and RA gave us a new world. Time fell, before the beginning, and the new earth grew. Rataya became her head and Marakoare rose. Other times, and peoples rose up in the middle of the mountains. Ari appeared, the gods shone, and they taught us how to rule. Giander, Bakhanasar, Bilmavajat and Alwasanath shone at us. Puran, Gitadar, Agwadiast and Sadianakshat shone for us. Then Akarasthan, Gayarama, Aramadai and the idea itself were glorious. The sky fell, the earth heaved and the crust shook. Mighty is the mind that holds the sky, and his brother is as bright as the moon. The serpent was beaten, the unclean was killed, and the lost prince was crushed. The meaning was resurrected, uncomplicated, incorruptible and sublime. The outcome was foretold from Aratai and Yarra along the Uriel. Then it was time for all sorts of outcomes, and the wars carried away many. The children of Radha have passed away in order to rise again in her glory. There were many glorious heroes, the cornet led them by teaching those who resembled him. And from the primordial also, Hrdvia, a kind of fiery shining went. There were many glorious heroes, of whom there is no power to mention. But we honor the saints, and their sign teaches us something about their ways. And first of all, let's remember SagaRA, who was from the Radagast. His name is God Asvadarai, and he is the conqueror of the Danavas. He is the tamer of all Danians, and established power over the Dambics. He exalted his power over the sinners of the south, and slashed thousands of unclean demons with a sword. He took a hammer and built walls. He put stones in the foundations of sacred temples. And his son was Gayareved Sauslav, who repeated his exploits and gave instructions to cities. The grandson was Iaraswanath Karaslav, to whom Arirgate Vyaraslav was a son. After all, this is a family of sacred princes, and SagaRA himself was born among them for generations. He is a witch and a punisher of sins. He performed feats and defeated enemies. He went to the north in his old age and burned up in the purest ice. Gayrite Koareslav, the wise man, was like his father. He built 18 sacred temples that stood near the Carpathian mountains. Once with his wife, lying down, he conceived the sage Karamapatai Trislav, who was the builder of Chargarad for the consolation of power over the whole magic. O glorious Saint Megaxenes, the scepters of more than 300 principalities lie before you. You are truly glorious as a manifestation of unprecedented enchantments, and we remember your name. From him Yarkai Sudaslav was revealed, and that great organizer, the creator of thousands of courts, and he wrote codes of laws and gave rules to the cities. Of course, Vidian the prince, the builder of many schools and temples, did the deeds of the saints, and the Rockmans added his name to the meaning of the sacred Vidian city. At the same time, he came to the holy city, having driven the Danavas from the north. The wisest prince was born from him, and we remember his name, Bharakai Daraslav, glory glory. O drainer of 40 swamps of Polsy, O conqueror of hundreds of demons, O destroyer of 2 Danavian unclean cities. Derek Nisa, who was holy and strong in deeds, came to his senses. Let us hear the name of Ratayan Vyrak, prince, who defeated the demons of the south and gave us hope. And as Kabai Daduslav shines God, he is the creator of the codes of laws, he is the writer of thousands of sacred riktas. Let us come to our senses so loudly, and by this, we will avert every sin. And from him Prince Aziztar Boguslav is an ascetic, he is a noble ruler, he is an ascetic and a compiler of wise explanations to the 9 most holy Vedas that keep the genera. From his sister, Bogtikian Mayadaraslav, who is our holy ruler, defender of the faith, and a vigilant guardian of the saints. He was called in great deeds, his name was Jamid Hagni, because he is the holy all-conquering source of the fiery flame, who gave birth to the great flame of the Father. Others were Avi Husanat Solvslav, Ayatyarikvar Sandvyaraslav, Aja Pravislav, Sangvar Jahaslav. Avi Husanat Solvslav Danavov beat, went south and shone there. Ayatyarikvar Sandvyaraslav Diknikov saved, he guided them and taught them the truth. Aja Pravislav was a great warrior, he won Avarsanadra, Avakujata, Avadabkava and Avakavala in that unequal battle. He knew the Vedas and taught them. Sangvar Jahaslav was strong, righteous and powerful, as the king of the gods, he shone during the day and eclipsed the moon at night. Prince Bogtikian is radiant, he is the most glorious, the most honorable, of those brothers, he is above all, his holy son SagaRA. SagaRA is the one who is the prince of everything. Bogtikian is a prince in a terrible battle, he left a scar on the head of the king of the Danavas. Janhai Sagarovich is all-powerful and we are telling him hundreds of riktas. He later scarred the Dana prince in another battle. SagaRA is the prince, god of burnt offerings. He only has all the glory. He is the one who rules over the worlds. An autocrat, towering above all the gods. Agil Jurid called me. He's been sitting like this since the time of Glyadvich. Hardwick himself served him in ancient times. And so he said to me, go on. Go, fall at the feet of the fire. The radiance erases stones to dust. The radiance of the water removes. SagaR's radiance is sacred. This is how I do the master's bidding. I will describe the radiance of RA from afar, and how I can. It is incomprehensible. The capital was ablaze, full of betrayals, when dawn broke. In the mountains of the holy ancients, a candle was lit so that the glorious could hear the answer. Bogtikian is the prince heir to the rule, he kept a stone in the monastery temple of the forest. He is a prince, a sage, a holy warrior, a conqueror of sinful Danavas. By the will of Ra, he became the gateway to the sun. The fire rose, scorching sin. The fireborn showed a sign in the fire. O Ra! We praise your name. O Ra! The supreme prince is fire. Danavas and traitors came to stop the dawn. They were defeated at the same time. There is no power to harm them, the sun. The Carpathians met with different colors, glorifying the ascent of the Father. The dawn is different, here the gods appeared over the mountains bearing offerings in their faithfulness. When, after the battle, this forest hermitage was burning, Prince Bogtikian left, having risen to the holy height, and he overthrew the unclean Danavas, because of their baseness. So in battle, with the death of a brave man, he washed himself with blood from all sins. SagaRA, Radagast and Silas, they are newborns, the danavas were put on the run. The great sage arrived, he had the honor to teach while serving. What can he teach, the source of all knowledge? But he tried to work miracles. That's how he studied RA learning. He mantras rivers and wept sweetly, knowing all the knowledge, this source. Oh, how beautiful was the creator of all creatures! And he diligently studied the knowledge of anyone. On the appointed day, the day of becoming, he took a vow to kill all the demons of the east. There he went, having cleansed the monasteries, separating the temples from sin and worries. The earth was blooming under his feet, the trees were bowing to fruit in front of him. This is how the surviving part of the ancient legend about the pedigree, prehistory, childhood and glorious exploits of SagaR the prince from the hymn Descent of the Flame ends. A little bit about SagaR's ancestors from other chronicles and Vedic sources. SagaRA is the conqueror of the Danavas, Dayans, Danviks, and savages of the south, the killer of 1,000 demons, the builder of monasteries and fortifications. His tetrarchs were SLAVS, Vedas, Radagast, and Radagast. Each of them also killed thousands of demons. Vedas was later replaced by SagaR, who had previously been the father of the army, commander-in-chief. Radagast was replaced by Sandervist, the founder of the monastic order of the Fiery Fists. Sandervist, leaving for the capital, appointed his son Sandervich, who later became known as the greatest warrior monk of his time, as the new ruler of the order. Vedas of Ra is the winner of 8 great Danava armies and 3 wars, the subordinate of apostates, the organizer of laws. By creating explanations of the laws and their correction for the current time, he gave many people the necessary opportunities and saved them from unnecessary things. His tetrarchs SagaR, SagaR, Sundarvist, Kayasthast helped people live according to the rule, understanding the rule, defeating the Danavs. SLAVS sought not to kill them, but to force them to work for the benefit of the Vedic civilization. They gave their knowledge in some sciences, but received Vedic knowledge and after 36 years of such service could return to their underwater countries or serve for another 9 years and stay in separate villages among the Slavs. Of the hundreds of thousands of captured Danavas, most decided to stay and serve Saslav forever. When Saslav was dying, he took with him about 310,000 Danavas to the afterlife, who were so imbued with loyalty to him that they considered it the highest blessing. He left about 40,000 people to live in a valley southwest of the Alps, where they called themselves Saslavici, and since then, have been the most loyal allies of the Slavs in all wars against the Danavs. The same 15,000 who decided to return to other Danavs began to hate the Saslavici more than the Slavs. Irisvanov Kroslov is an ascetic, a reformer of society, an organizer of monasteries. Of monasteries. Vedic heritage of the Indo-Europeans.